Hello to the chicos and the chicas. 10k baby, we have made it. We have made it to 10k subscribers, and that is absolutely awesome. And maybe I'm going to dedicate a video to my thoughts on having reached this milestone and where to go from here. But now I've got something entirely different for you on the menu, and that is a very good chess friend of mine, David Smerdon, and his Immortal game that has been on social media for a while now, and it's a widely popular game that receives a lot of attention, and for very good reasons too. And so I thought that it's mighty time that something so famous makes its way to my YouTube channel. And so here I present to you the one and only Smurfo Grandmaster David Smerdon in the white trunks against his opponent in the black trunks, UK chess bomber. And I'm not even going to give you any more on the game and why it became so well known and all the rest of it, because I think it's best experienced if you actually see it yourself. So on the menu is a Russian or Petrov, or whatever you want to call it, the Soviet defense, as we like to jokingly call it back in Hungary in the olden days. D4, David is not keen on any kind of symmetrical lameness for the time being, and ED4, which is definitely the least popular variation here. Knight E4 is the more commonly played move. E5, Knight D5. I'm trying to think about theory here, and there is a problem with that, and that is that I can't remember theory. Why is that, I wonder? Anyway, opponents play C6, which is certainly not great. What the heck is theory here, man? E5. Oh yeah, it's Knight E4. Is it Queen D4, D5 takes, Knight takes, D6, Knight C3, and yeah, this rings a bell. This is mainline theory. That's it. So Knight D5, I reckon, is probably not that great. Queen D4, C6 is definitely a no-go, and that move is going to be the reason, one of the main reasons why David can find a plan that is going to write him in chess books for eternity. Knight B4, Knight A3 to cover the Knight C2 family fork. Queen A5, cheeky move, very cheeky move, announcing a discovered check, but also announces queen takes followed by check and takes, which actually is going to happen in the game. Takes, check, bam, 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 and you go like, how on earth can this turn out to be an eternal and immortal and all those type of things game when the queens are already off the board? Just work with me, brother. Bishop takes A3, Knight F5, kingside castles, and Knight D6, beginning the blockade strategy that we have learned from good old Nimzovich. Yeah, good old Nimzovich wrote a brilliant book called My System, and in that he talks about blockade as a strategy. And although I can't help but think about an awesome one-liner by Gary Delaney, who said once that I went to a positive thinking course yesterday. It was crap. And so that's the joke that comes to my mind when I think about the Nimzovich book, because I actually recall positively liking it, but whoever I talk to, they all go like, yeah, nah, My System is boring. So I don't know. I haven't had that book in my hands for a long time, but I remember that when I read it, it spoke to me in a way that I think contributed to my chess understanding. And here the Aussie GM is definitely showing very, very good understanding of blockading and denying development. Bishop D6, pawn D6, and now you can already see the frame of the disaster that black is about to fully embrace. B6, quite alright, rook B1, and here of course black should have played Knight A6, Knight out, Bishop out, in which case it would be, I suppose, still a better game for white because of the insane piece mobility, but nothing spectacular. But instead, the unsuspecting opponent plays Bishop B7, And after c5, he plays b5, thus basically handing over David the key to lock this whole entire queenside down forever. And of course, David, who has got a very fine taste for cool things in chess, immediately homes in on this opportunity, plays a4, provokes a6, which of course again is a typical rookie error, because as black here, you can't wait for white to take b5 so that when you retake, your diagonal opens up and your knight comes out to c6 as well. So this is that knee-jerk reaction of defense that I talked about actually in the previous video, I believe, that causes so many defeats on lower level that you go like, ooh, b5 is attacked, I should defend it. Well, good job, buddy. Good luck moving any of these dudes now for the rest of the game. And that was just a defensive, instant defensive measure that he thought he needed to take. And from here on, the game turns actually into a bit of a comedy session, because really all black has is a rook to move. And David, being extremely cruel, he even shuts down that b pawn. And actually, for his purposes, he should have done that even sooner. Like already here, I would have played bishop b4, I reckon, to definitely seal off everything so that they can't even go b4 and then rook up, bishop back, and at least evac with the rook. But that's exactly what happened a number of moves later here. And now after bishop b4, there is this extremely comical situation where no matter how you shuffle the rook and the bishop, these three pieces can never ever see the day of light. Rather the light of day, actually. So either way, it's a pathetic situation. And of course, David was enjoying himself here immensely. And so he decided to turn it into a bit of a fun fiesta. And he thought, well, if I am fighting essentially against this, then I certainly don't need a rook. And this is an epic way, by the way, to absolutely fool the engine. You don't see this, guys, but on the left I see the bar, and the eval bar dropped about 100 points, which is ridiculous, because this position is totally winning after the second blunder done by David on purpose, who now chucked away a rook and a bishop, and so all he has is a king, but these dudes cannot come out at all. Actually, I would like to add a little bit of a correction to that. I think they could, if in this position he went here, here, and then rook here, right? I can attempt an evac. The reason why this would have been actually beautiful if it had happened, because as you would probably anticipate in this position, the best move is by no means to take this, but simply to run and run and run. The king can't evac from the back rank. Oh my god. I didn't even look at this when I decided to publish this game on my channel. How good is this man? Even if in this position it was black to move, they still couldn't help it because king here. So let's say I play pass, king here and here. Oh man. Actually, better still, even here. Oh wait. Now I have to do that because after f4, rook e8, if I go here, then rook check, and then black eventually disentangles himself. But yeah, instead of doing all that, black decided to stick around on the king side and not to try to evac any of this. By the way, I love the fact that anytime you play rook c7, after takes, not only do you lose a rook, but we get a new queen because the knight has nowhere to go. Actually, this is an exception to that rule because now d5 is check. And then the knight could come out. But then again, after rook c7, I can totally afford to put the king on a dark square. And when the bishop moves, then I take. And now the knight certainly has nowhere to go. So black just decided to hang around here and pretend that he had a chance against the pawn storm. And David very stylishly again ignores the rook on b6. I totally love that. Which is again a quite clever attempt, because if you take it with either way, then c5 or a5 is going to allow the knight, and both actually the knight and the bishop, to come out. But he goes like, no mate, I have got a checkmate with g6 back and bishop here. And that is precisely what happened in this extremely fun and humorous game too, actually. So I don't know. I really do envy David for this game because I think every chess player, especially those who grow up with chess as a kid, dreams about having a position where they entirely seal off a complete wing. And it very, very rarely happens in high-level encounters. And so this is just next level. Absolutely next level. And I wouldn't be me, and it wouldn't be my channel if I didn't put a spin on this business. And that spin is that I was thinking about recording this game when I was playing a couple of blitz games. And so I played this game, and this was literally on the same day when I decided to publish David's game. And because of I have been looking for material. Sorry, I'm just listening to the family because they're yelling like crazy and I can hear that they need me. I was looking for this, I was looking at games with this particular opening in the Paulsen, which I myself used to play as white. And because of I was looking for games, because I was collecting material for certain courses, it sort of gave me a bit of a deja vu, and well, not a deja vu, but a bit of a sense of nostalgia. So I thought, okay, I should go back to this variation and play it. And lo and behold, I get this 2400 rated dude I'm playing here against is white. And I'm like, okay, I will give it a crack. And so I play this pawn sack variation. The idea is to create a very awesome bind on these squares. And I'm guessing you can already see where this is headed and why I'm linking these two games together, at least in my head. And it's going all fine and dandy. With actually following some kind of theory here. G3 is actually a common move for various reasons in this line. Bishop f4, knight e5 can be met with bishop drop back, blah blah blah. Although I think it's a lot more typical when the knight gets protected by pawn f5. So I was mixing things up here, but I was fine. Still, and here, was it here? Yeah, rook e1 was fine. And then my opponent played g6. The reason for g6 in this position is because they want to play e5, but they don't want to allow knight f5, knight d6. So this is actually a common move, but it's a dead lost position here for black now, because in this particular position, white has bishop f4, a move I totally missed. And after e5, I did look at it. I just didn't realize that after takes I stopped here, which is a common mistake that I preach against all the time, to not to stop your calculation too soon. If I just had looked half a move deeper, I would have realized that this was absolute carnage, and black is beyond saving. They take this queen, I take theirs. They take one of the rooks. Actually, let's take the other one. That's a bit more sensible, because at least then the bishop doesn't hang. And now this rook gets a fair bit of love treatment, like so. Having missed all this, I played a bit of a lemon here as white in a blitz game. I went bishop g5 without any clear vision. And when my opponent played e5, I realized that, oh man, this is not gonna be fun. If I drop back, they now get to play d5 because I no longer have that insane pressure on the c6 square. And after d5, black just breaks out. I have to take this, they take back. I'm pawn down, and my position is worse. And I was like really hating myself here. And then an idea occurred to me that I think is an absolute stroke of a genius. I'm not blowing my own trumpet at all, especially considering that we are talking about a 3-minute game. And I legit saw this. So I went like, okay, I will play knight b6. If they take with the pawn, I can take and knight d5, forking queen and bishop, at least. And I also have the idea of take, exchange sack, takes bishop, takes f6, having that pin, all look juicy. And if knight d4, I'm gonna sack my queen and completely paralyze this part of the board. So this is how this game continued. I went in knight b6, he played knight d4, I took it, and I was already rubbing my hands for being the greatest genius and the most famous blitz game in history of humankind. Takes, by the way, totally unsound, but I'm going to show you how. Takes, and rook e7. And this is how far I calculated, and I thought that, okay, I have got a piece for the queen, so solid. Knight is hanging, good news, and bishop f4 is actually trapping the queen. So I was actually very, very impressed, excuse me, with myself at this point. The two moves that I didn't see that would have hurt me, the one in particular is knight h5, which physically stops bishop f4, and amazingly, and I just, the more I look at this actually, the more I am amazed by how valid this idea is. After bishop h6, according to the engine, the evaluation of this position is 0.92. So what that really means is that I'm not even a pawn down as white here. Whereas in reality, I gave away a queen for one minor piece. But look at this amazing bind here that basically just cancels out all those pieces. Actually, the forcing variation according to the engine is knight g7, bishop f4, queen takes f4, pawn takes f4, and d6 in black has a better endgame. And that's black's best. Holy moly. And so anyway, I want this video not so much about me, but David's Immortal, so I will speed up my game and I will show you how it went. So he played rook e8, which is insta loss, and from here on I play only awful moves, completely botching what could have been a remarkable masterpiece, because here I miss knight d5, and after knight d5, rook takes, king g7, bishop takes, with bishop f4 to follow. This is over, so I missed this, and instead I went bishop takes, and that was the other thing, that I was completely obsessed with this outcome here. That was the position I was aiming for when I sacked the queen, with bishop d6 just mowing down everything. And I totally forgot about this little move here. I'm like, okay, no worries, I will kill this. Rook e1, he took, I took back, queen e8, and I can't believe what I've done here. Like, I'm embarrassed to admit that I did not play knight d5 here. I don't know why, but I was so obsessed with this bishop d6 idea of humiliating all these pieces that I was desperate to make it happen. And then I realized that king f1, which was my #1 candidate move, and please do not laugh at me for this, would lose to d5, because after bishop d6, bishop check, I'm actually losing the rook. And because of this didn't work, and somehow my brain didn't switch a gear that, dude, this is the wrong plan, I still tried to make the bishop d6 idea work, and so I played this absolutely horrendous rook e5 move, with the idea of bishop d6 next. Instead, knight d5 would have instantly mopped up the game. Like, there is just no way stopping knight f6, trapping the queen on e8. And that would have made this my Immortal, but as it is, I barely ended up winning this game. Like, I just played knight d5 a move later with a hanging rook. Like, how shameful is that? And then, through tremendous luck, here my opponent again played a few sillies, like bishop g4 was really unnecessary, and the two bishops eventually prevailed, but I managed to botch what could have been an awesome, absolutely awesome victory if I had played here knight d5. But the queen sack idea I'm still very proud of. Like, this was such a cool one to play, and I certainly was, like I said, inspired by David's masterpiece. So it's always good to be on the lookout for awesome games, because when you come across one or two that you see, you go like, wow, I wish I could play a game like that. And when I saw again Dave's game, which I have seen many times in the past, but it popped up on my Twitter feed, I believe someone called it chess porn, which is a very apt description of that game. I went like, yeah, that's a good one. I wish I could play a blitz game like that. And so yeah, I think that these things definitely help the community to keep on playing and aiming to score that victory that will definitely be in the chess books. So that was David Smerdon's Immortal and my near Immortal game, and that will be it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again for the continued support. 10k is awesome. Up we go for 50k now is the next goal, I suppose. So let's see if in the next 50 years we can get there. Thanks for tuning in and watching me. I will be back with more soon. Bye.